Hello, it's me Jemma and I'm here at the Crumbs Doilies shop in Soho, and quite a lot of you have got in touch recently saying you're having a bit of trouble with your cream cheese icing. So we've got some people getting it too runny or not runny enough, or it's too sweet or just not tasty. So I'm here to help, and I have two really wicked recipes for you. These are recipes you should just have in your repertoire, just in your recipe book. I have my mixer here. This is a freestanding mixer. If you don't have one of these, you can use a hand blender. The quantity that I'm making is going to be enough for 2 dozen standard size cupcakes. If you're going to halve this recipe for a lesser amount of cakes, you'd probably want to use the hand blender because that's too small an amount to put in this guy. I have here 100 grams of butter, which is soft and unsalted. And the butter here is soft enough that I can kind of squeeze it, but it's not really greasy. It doesn't want to be too floppy. And to soften butter, I normally leave it out on the counter overnight. If it's the summer, because it never really gets hot enough in London that everything just completely melts. If it's the winter, I have to kind of find a nice warm, cozy spot, like the airing cupboard or somewhere near a radiator, but not like directly on it. So somewhere that's kind of giving a little bit of warmth, and it gets this butter to this really nice kind of squishable consistency. So I've got 100 grams of that. I'm going to put that in my mixer. So next we need some cream cheese, since this is cream cheese icing. And I have 160 grams of that. This is Philadelphia. You can use whatever is available to you. And this hasn't come straight from the fridge. You can use this straight from the fridge, but mine's just kept at room temperature. So it's the same temperature as my butter, then it doesn't have to work too hard to incorporate. I'm gonna put that in with the butter and give it a really good mix. And I wanna start off on a low speed so it doesn't all fly out, but then increase it to kind of a medium to high speed, and I'm going to beat it for around a minute so it's really well incorporated. That'll do, it's gone really nice and fluffy, and so now I need to add the sugar, and I've got some icing sugar here, 560 grams of icing sugar which I've sifted. And with all my icings, I always add the icing sugar in 2 stages and beat really, really well in between each one. So I'm just going to pop half of that in now. And again, super important not to start this bad boy on a high speed, otherwise you're going to have a face full of icing sugar. So start on a low and increase it to a medium to high. Okay, so I'm just turning it off so I can put the other bit of icing sugar in and not make a mess. Just do the same again. So I do this with all my icing and all my cake batter. Near the end, I give it a really good scrape, especially if I'm using one of these, because there are bits that this thing can't quite reach. So I just want to make sure I've got all the butter and cream cheese incorporated. And then I'm going to give it one last blast for about 20 seconds just to finish it off. And that is done. And this is really nice, spreadable consistency. It's gone lovely and pale. It's perfect, like I can spread that, I can pipe it. This is the perfect consistency and you're gonna love it. So I'm just going to put that into a bowl and cling film it for later. Cool, I just need to bake some cupcakes. So cream cheese icing is obviously delicious, but there is one thing that's even more delicious, and that is chocolate cream cheese icing. And what I like about chocolate cream cheese is that the cream cheese bit of it makes the chocolate really, really tangy, and it's super rich and really good on chocolate cakes. It's a good alternative to chocolate buttercream. Although if you do want chocolate buttercream, I've got a video for that, so click on the link. To start with, I'm going to melt some chocolate, because I want that to be cool by the time I add it at the end. So I have a pan of simmering water here. There's only about this much in the pan, because I don't want it to touch the bottom of the bowl. And then I have 150 grams of dark 70% cocoa solid chocolate, which I'm going to melt gently over the top of that. All right, that's all melted, so I'm just going to take the bowl off the heat and just stop it. because when I use it, I want it to be completely cool, but I want it to still be liquidy. But now I'm going to get on with beating my other ingredients together. So I have 70 grams of softened unsalted butter, same amount of squishiness as before. I'm just going to put that straight in. And then this recipe has 200 grams of cream cheese, so I'm going to pop that in as well and beat them all together. And then this recipe has slightly less icing sugar in. I've got 330 grams here, so I'm going to add half now and then give it a beat. Now I can see that this part of my icing is pretty much ready, but this is still a little bit on the warm side. I don't want to put it in because I don't want to melt any of the butter and cream cheese. So I'm just going to turn this down to like the minimum speed, just to keep it moving so it doesn't kind of crust over while I'm waiting for my chocolate to cool down completely. I'm going to keep this moving too. So my chocolate is now cool. This is ready to go, so I'm just going to turn it off and pour my chocolate in. So particularly important with this one to give it a really good scrape, just to make sure that all the naked cream cheese and the chocolate are really nicely mixed. And then yeah, just one last blast. Nearly done. It's ready and it looks delicious. It's so silky and smells amazing. And this is really, really yummy on chocolate cakes. And it's really good with banana cakes as well. Just gives it a really nice tangy flavour. So this is my second essential cream cheese icing recipe that you guys definitely need to have in your special recipe books. And you just keep this exactly the same way as cream cheese icing. So cover it in an airtight container, it'll keep for a couple of days, or refrigerate it if you need to keep it longer. So there they are, two really good, solid, yummy recipes for your repertoire. And these quantities will ice about 2 dozen big standard size cupcakes. You can halve these recipes or double them, it'll still work just as well. Like I said before though, if you do halve that, you might want to not use one of these, you might want to use a hand blender, but they are just delicious and I hope you enjoy making them. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed these recipes, and don't forget you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link, and also if you have liked it, give it a thumbs up. I'll be back next week with another recipe for you guys, so I'll see you then. Bye!